Hello guys, Robert Visitation here and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to talk about how to prepare for fights. Preparing for fights these days is a lot different than it was back in my day in the 80s. So, I've got a lot of questions on how do you guys prepare for fights? How are you guys successful like you are? How do we do this? How do we do that? Well, today we're going to get into all of it. So you ready? Let's get going. Well, number one, your fighter has to be ready. But it's not just that simple. It's not as simple as having him go and hit the bag a bunch of times and expect to go out there and win every fight that you enter into. So first thing is fighter preparation. And what we do on a typical 6-week camp, the first 4 weeks, we're working on conditioning. We come in, of course, we work our bag and we do those type of things, but we do circuits outside. We do a lot of conditioning because they always say, a better conditioned fighter can beat a talented fighter if the talented fighter isn't quite prepared. So first off, we need to make sure that our conditioning is there, that we can go twice as many rounds as we're scheduled to if we need to. The other thing is the first 4 weeks is just conditioning for us. Now, the last 2 weeks and including that fourth week of the other one, so the last 3 weeks that we're doing is we work on specifics on that particular fight. We work on our game plan on that fight. Now, how do we make the game plan? Well, that's between me and Crew Pena, our Muay Thai instructor, who is an excellent instructor. What we do is we start looking up the fighters. Back in the day when I fought, you really couldn't look up the fighters that much like you can. We didn't have computers, we had computers, but we didn't have all the media that we do today. So we look up the fighters. Typically, our typical day on it will be going to a Tapology and putting in, if it's John Smith, even though he don't fight MMA, I'll go put in John Smith MMA, and the Tapology page will come up if he's had any significant fights. And it will tell you how many wins he has, how, did he win by knockout, TKO, was it a decision, so on and so on, how many rounds it was, what their weight was, and it's a wealth of information. But also it gives you the promotion of that fight, and you can look up those fights, you can look up the promotion of those fights. I know almost everybody these days have their fights on pay-per-view, so maybe it'll cost you $19 or something to get that past fight or whatever so that you can analyze your fighter that you're getting ready to fight up against. But go ahead and we'll pay those and do whatever it takes. And then what I do is I go through all the fights. Cruz goes through all the fights and we take notes. Is he a southpaw? Is he conventional? Seeing that we're in Muay Thai and kickboxing, does he have good hands? Does he have good kicks? Does he like to work the knees a lot? Does he like to work in the clinch a lot? Those type of things. And we always go out to the side and I'll put, pros on this guy and cons on this guy. What is some of the best things this guy does? Man, he's got a hard right hand, or he's got a devastating knee or something like that. And then the cons, what does he do? He gets tired fast, or every time he throws that right hand, he drops his left hand, or, maybe he just is this kind of fighter that comes in like this anyway. So we take a bunch of notes, and then we will go back and myself and Cruz will compare notes, and then we'll talk about it. And then from there, we design a plan on how to do a particular fight. When Jose Scarface Montalongo went up to and fought in Boston at Lion Fight, I looked up our opponent. Our opponent was a couple of inches shorter than us, but he was a bulldog. He came in and threw a lot of stuff. He was very aggressive. So when those type of fighters, you either have to keep them at bay, and you can only do that for so long with a good fighter. And a good pro fighter like that is going to be able to get inside and have his way eventually. So what we decided is we was going to let him be the instructor of his own demise. We started going back and we said, well, let's stop him with elbows. And this was a Muay Thai fight up there. So when he would come in, we would do our regular left and right and stuff like that. But when he would come in, we said, well, let's go ahead and let's step back, plant that back foot, and let him, boom, run into those elbows. And we did. And sliced him up pretty bad, and the fight stopped. Another fight for Jose again, we had out in L.A., and it was against a guy on the USA Muay Thai team, and he was a very good fighter, had really good hands. I noticed he was kind of aggressive. Once he starts getting his confidence, he was aggressive. So what we said early is, well, it's a title fight. It's a 5-round fight, so we have some time. So let's take his legs out. Let's slow him down, and then we can have our way upstairs. So fortunately for us, we worked those leg kicks, and he couldn't come out for, well, no, he did come out for the 3rd round, but it got stopped in the 3rd round. And all that was just from being prepared. We could have went in there a little blind and might have got beat in both of those fights. So it takes a lot of due diligence on the trainer's behalf to find out what exactly do we really think is going to work for this guys. What is your opponent's habits? What's his what's his good habits? What's his bad habits? And we have to find a way to take advantage of that. And we've been very successful, thus far. We've had a few losses though as well, but been successful in the main run of it. So those type of things are really what we work on, and as far as getting prepared for fights. And just kind of go back and make a recap. The fighter has to be in shape, for one thing. He has to be in shape, and he has to be in condition. So if we have a three-round fight, we're training these guys for a 5-round title fight. If we have a 5-round title fight, we're training for a 7 or 8-round fight, just to make sure that we are in condition. We don't want to go out there. It would be a disservice to the fans. It would be a disservice to the promoter to go out there and not really be in prime shape for that fight, to give it your all and to give the best possible show that you can give these guys. So then it comes back to kind of the coach's part on this. We need to make sure that we are ready and that we have the correct game plan for it. And how do we do it? We look up fighters. Typically, we go to Tapology.com, and look up our fighters. We will scroll through there, see how many fights they've won, how many they've lost, what they won by, what they lost by. And then we will go and we'll look up the promoters, and we'll try to find recent fight tapes of them. And from there, look at the pros and cons of each. We get together, myself and Crew Pena get together, we compare notes, and then we start making a game plan from there. But guys, that's pretty much it. I know that you guys have questions, so if you have more questions, go ahead and drop them down there in the comments. I will certainly get back with you, and sometimes we'll even make a video like this for you as well. Guys, and if you enjoy the videos that we're doing, please give it a thumbs up. That really helps us here. And consider subscribing to us as well, so you can see all of our future videos coming out and our many past videos that we've made as well. Talk soon.